Hello and good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in and listening where we might be doing so from around the globe. This is episode 35 of our ongoing podcast series, The Anatomy of Modern Romance Scams. I'm Michael B. and once again, I'll be your host. Today I want to talk about something that has become very personal. Over the last several weeks, people have begun reaching out to me through fan mail on Buzzsprout and through my website. These aren't marketers, not people promising to grow the podcast. I get plenty of those. These messages are different. They're coming from families, from husbands, wives, sons, and daughters. They're coming from people who've discovered that someone they love may be involved in a romance scam, and they're scared. I don't blame them. They have reason to be. They're watching money disappear, or they're afraid money is about to disappear. They've watched someone they've known for 20, 30, sometimes 40 plus years believe a person on a screen over the people who have loved them for a lifetime. The families have found fake photographs, fake videos, fake passports, and other documents. They've uncovered lies that should end that relationship immediately. And somehow, the person they love still believes. If you're that husband, that wife, that son, that daughter, that friend, let me speak to you first. I know how impossible this situation must look from where you're standing, because I once stood on the other side. It's why I wrote my books. And before we go any further, I want to make something clear about the two books I've written. Of course, I hope people buy them, but book sales aren't why they exist. I'm not trying to build a publishing business around one of the worst things that ever happened to me and my family. I wrote these books because I desperately wish something like them had been sitting beside me that night before I answered that first message. Ding, hello dear, how are you? Tells my story. It tells you what happened, how something completely harmless became something that changed my life and the lives of the people I love, probably forever. That's my story. But the reality behind modern romance scams, that book is different. It asks different questions, like, how did this happen? And more importantly, how do we stop it? That's where the playbook and the rule book come in. The playbook, that's theirs. The rule book, that's ours. The playbook explains what they're going to do. The rule book determines what we are going to do about it. Understanding that difference may be one of the most important things you will ever learn about these crimes. Let me talk about the playbook and let me speak to everyone. Whether you've been scammed, whether someone you love is being scammed, or whether you believe this could never happen to you, please listen. The people behind these scams have a playbook. They know how to start a conversation. They know how to build familiarity. They know how to mirror your interests, and they know how to become part of your daily routine, part of your life. Those good morning, good night, how was your day, Did you eat? I miss you. I love you. Small things, seemingly harmless things, until one day they just aren't small anymore. That person has become part of your life. They know it, they realize it. Then comes intimacy, then secrecy. This is just between us. Your family wouldn't understand. They don't understand what we have. And eventually, here it comes to ask for money. These aren't bumbling idiots behind a computer sending badly written emails. Some of these are very sophisticated criminal operations. They test, they adapt, they listen, and most importantly, they learn you. They learn where you're vulnerable. Could be loneliness, grief, divorce, retirement, financial pressure, a need to feel important, a desire for companionship, a desire to be loved, isolation. That's huge. And sometimes it's simply the desire to help somebody. That was a big part of mine. Sometimes vulnerability is nothing more complicated than being in the wrong emotional place when that first message arrives. But being vulnerable doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But a vulnerability that you don't recognize can become an opening. And these people are very, very good at finding openings. If there's the smallest hole in your armor, they will find it. They will burrow in, and the virus takes hold. That's why we need a rule book. Because the best time to decide what you will do is before someone else has enough emotional influence to help you make that decision. The simplest rule in my rule book is 3 letters. You may have guessed them. D, B, W. Delete, block, and walk. I know how simple that sounds. Maybe even trite. 3 words against an international crime enterprise? Yes. Yes. 3 words. Because think about what happens when you actually use them. A scammer cannot manipulate a conversation that no longer exists. They cannot build attachment after you block them. They cannot move you towards money if you've already walked away. DBW doesn't beat the scammer at their own game. It refuses to play the game. That is why it works. And if you've already gone further than that, DBW still works. The best time to leave that relationship was before the attachment formed. The second best time is right now. I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk directly to the person inside the scam. If you're listening and people you love are telling you that they're worried about this relationship or they're worried about you, I want to talk to you, please. Maybe you're thinking, Michael, hey, you don't understand. We're way past the casual conversation. I love this person and they love me. We've talked about our future. We've made plans. I've already sent money. Believe me, I understand more than you realize. Because I was there. So I'm not asking you to admit that you're stupid. You're not. You're not. I'm not asking you to admit that your feelings aren't real. They may be very real. I'm asking you to consider the possibility that the person who created these feelings with you, right beside you, isn't. They're not real. They aren't. That's a very difficult distinction, but it may be the most important distinction you'll ever make. I want to talk about the 1530 rule. Yes, it's another number to remember, but 1530, what it means is 15 seconds or 30 years. 15 seconds to make a decision, or potentially 30 years living with its consequences. Because eventually, the invoices arrive. Maybe it's a retirement account that's gone. It's all zeros. Maybe it's a second mortgage on a home that was already paid for. Ask me how painful that is every month. Maybe it's a loan. Maybe it's money borrowed against your house. Maybe it's money that was supposed to pay for retirement, spending time with your grandchildren, travel. Maybe there's a medical thing that comes up and needs to be taken care of. It could be simply the security of knowing that after working your entire life, you are going to be okay. These relationships jeopardize all of that. The scammer can disappear in seconds. The debt does not. The loan doesn't. The mortgage doesn't. The damaged relationships don't. The consequences stay behind, both seen and those that you haven't seen that are coming your way. That's the 30. And that's why the reality behind modern romance scams isn't simply another book telling you that scammers exist. You know that. It's largely written for the person who still has time to stop. I can't undo what happened to me. I'm working through it step by step by step, a little at a time. But perhaps what happened to me can help prevent what happens to you. I want to circle back to the family for a minute. The people watching this happen, if you believe money is moving, or you believe another transfer or loan may be coming, act. Act. Contact the financial institution involved. Tell them you're concerned about potential fraud and what safeguards or options may be available. If money has already been sent, report it. Contact your local law enforcement, contact your local FBI field office, and file a report with the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center, the IC3. Preserve everything: the messages, phone numbers, email addresses, transaction records, bank records, cryptocurrency wallet addresses, and transaction information, if those are involved. Don't decide what investigators need. Give them everything. Give them the information and let them decide. There are other organizations such as the AARP Fraud Watch Network. That network can provide information and support to victims and their families. When my scam ended, I remember looking around and thinking, what in the hell do I do now? I had no idea. I had no idea about the game, and I had no idea what to do when it ended. That's the other reason I'm talking about this today. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to solve this yourself. You can't. But you do have to start somewhere. You do have to reach out. I encourage you to report it. I encourage you to ask for help. Word of caution. Watch out for the second scam. It's something else I wish every victim knew. After you've been scammed, you can become a target again. Someone may contact you and say, "Hey, we found your money. We've located your cryptocurrency. We can help you recover it." And then comes the catch. A fee, a tax, processing charge, another payment. Please, please be extremely careful. Desperation to recover what you've lost can create another vulnerability. It can set you up for a secondary scam. Validate anyone making those claims independently. Don't let the desire to undo the first scam pull you into a second one. This is the advice I got from the FBI. If you're engaged from any organization to help you recover lost funds, be very careful. Typically, that's a scam. Now back to possibly the hardest question. Family members are asking, how do I make them see it? I wish I had a perfect answer. I don't. You can show someone a fake passport. You can prove a photograph was stolen. You can demonstrate that a video was manipulated. And they can explain all that away. And eventually, you're standing there thinking, how can you possibly still believe this? Believe me, I understand that anger. I understand that frustration level. But please be careful what happens next. Because if every conversation becomes, you're wrong, you're being stupid, how can you not see this? I'm going to prove it to you. Something dangerous can happen. You become the enemy. And the scammer solidifies their spot as the safe place. The scammer gets to say, see, I told you they wouldn't understand. They're trying to destroy what we have. And nobody understands you like I do. And suddenly, your completely reasonable attempts to save someone you love has become evidence in the scammer's story. Don't give them that weapon. They will weaponize it. You don't have to pretend the relationship is real. You don't have to approve of it. You don't have to finance it. But try to separate the person you love from the decisions they're making. Fight for them, not against them. Keep the door open if you safely can. Because someday, the scammer story and the scammer, that whole situation, it will collapse. And when it does, the person you love is going to need somewhere to fall. And they are going to fall hard. There's always someone who gets lost or will get lost in these conversations. The person trying to save somebody. You, the spouse, the child, the sibling, the friend, the person losing sleep, the person checking bank accounts, the person wondering what message arrived today, the person asking, how did my life become this? Please hear me. Don't disappear inside somebody else's scam. Your life has value as well. Your peace matters. Your financial security matters. Your emotional health, that matters. And your future matters. You can love someone extremely deeply and still establish boundaries. You can fight for someone without allowing yourself to be destroyed alongside them. You can say, I love you, and also say, I want finances. You can say, I'm here when you're ready, and also say, I cannot participate in something that is harming our family. These aren't contradictions, and sometimes that's what love looks like when love becomes very difficult. And I guess my ask is please don't give up on them simply because you cannot understand why they still believe. I know personally how convincing these people can be. From outside the scam, the answer can look painfully obvious. From inside it, the view is completely different. That's one of the reasons why I developed what I call the attachment override model. At some point in time, the question can stop being, is this person real? And quietly become, how do I protect this relationship? That's the shift. Evidence that should destroy the relationship instead becomes something the victim has to explain away. Because accepting the evidence means accepting something else. The relationship never has existed. That can be devastating. The person may have been fictional, but the attachments weren't. That's why simply throwing more evidence at somebody doesn't always work. The evidence is fighting an attachment. And attachments don't disappear just because someone produces a screenshot. Now, if you're the person everyone is worried about, I want you to do something for me, just for a moment. Put your phone down. Look away from the computer and look at the people who stand in front of you. Could be your husband, your wife, your children, your family, your friends. The people who have actually lived life beside you. They've seen you succeed. They've watched you struggle. They've seen you at your best. They've seen you at your worst. Remember the time you tried to start the lawnmower and it wouldn't start? Yeah. And they're still standing there. When they say, I love you, they mean it. When they say, I'm afraid for you, maybe they're not trying to control you. Maybe they're terrified of losing you. Not just your money. You. Now turn around 180 degrees. Look the other way. Where's the person on the phone? Where are they physically standing? Where is the person asking you for money? Where's the person promising you a future? Where are they right now? Maybe all you have is a photograph or a message, a voice, a screen. On the other side are real people standing in front of you. Behind you, pixels. Just pixels. Think about that. Don't sacrifice the people who are standing beside you, in front of you, for someone who won't stand in front of you. They can't. They're not real. Let's talk about vulnerability for a moment. I really want to talk about that that one more time. Retired FBI friend and I spent a lot of time talking about what happened to me. One of the things he encouraged me to examine was isolation. At the time I was working remotely, my daily interaction with people had changed. COVID changed that for millions of us. Looking back, I believe isolation was one of my vulnerabilities. So I'm going to ask you to do something I wish I had done. Take inventory. Where are you vulnerable? Loneliness, isolation, grief, financial pressure, a life transition, the need to feel useful, the need to feel loved, the need to communicate. There's no shame in recognizing vulnerability, and awareness is protection. You protect a door differently once you know where the lock is weak. Know your openings. Build your rule book around them. I've given you the basic format. Add to it. If mine don't make sense to you, don't use them. Make your own. But do not discard that rule book. It will save you. It will help you. You may think you're immune to a romance scam, but you're not. They're happening to millions of intelligent, sensitive people all around the world. I also want to be very clear about who I am and who I'm not. I'm not a psychologist. I am not a counselor. I don't have those degrees behind my name. I am a man who is severely taken advantage of and who's had to live with that going forward. My family needed help. I needed help. There were periods when the consequences became extremely dark for me, and I learned that I couldn't carry everything by myself. If you're there, whether you're the victim, the spouse, or somebody else in the family, please consider getting qualified professional help. There's no prize for suffering alone, because these crimes don't only take money. They damage trust, relationships, your confidence, absolutely your security. They wipe out your peace. They flatten it. Sometimes a financial loss is only the first invoice. Now, I don't know how the stories of the families who've contacted me are going to end. I wish I did. I hope another dollar isn't sent. I hope the person being scammed recognizes what's happening. I hope families stay together. I hope the damage can still be contained. But I can't promise any of these things. What I can promise is that I'll keep talking about this. I'll keep telling my story. I'll keep explaining their playbook. And I'll keep talking about our rule book. Because somewhere tonight, a message is going to arrive. Hello. How are you? Someone will answer. Then another message, and another, and another. Someone will be told they're special. Someone will be told they're loved. Someone will be asked to keep something private. Someone will hear your family wouldn't understand. Someone will be asked to move the conversation somewhere else. Telegram, WhatsApp. And somewhere down that road, money will enter the conversation. But somewhere else tonight, There may be a husband, a wife, a son, a daughter sitting across the room, watching someone they love disappear into a screen, thinking, please see what I see. If you're that family member, don't give up easily. Protect what you can. Get help. Keep the door open if you safely, remember that word, safely, can. Don't lose yourself trying to save someone else. And if you're the person on the other side of the room, look up. Please, look up. There may be someone standing right in front of you who's been there all along. Do not sacrifice that relationship for pixels. Understand you are a victim of a major crime, and understand the time to end that fake relationship is right now. Realize that repairing the fractured relationships you have created, that time is now as well. I want to thank you for spending this time with me. If this episode speaks to anything happening with your family, if it resonates, please share it. Not to prove someone's wrong. Share it because hearing this story from someone who once stood, you're hearing it from someone who once stood on the other side. It might help them see something differently. Remember to always validate. Always. Those are the times we live in. Know the playbook. Build your rule book. And when the pieces start falling together, don't wait. You know it's coming. Delete, block, and walk. 15 seconds. Because the 30, that lasts a long time. Protect what you have. Protect what's yours. Protect the people you love. Come together. Don't fall apart. And sometimes allow the people who love you to protect you. But above anything and everything, always, always stay safe. I'm Michael B. Thank you for listening.